Alrighty guys, welcome back to another chess series, and in this video I am going to be talking about the Italian game. Now the Italian game is one of the oldest and still one of the most popular family of chess openings, and it is so for a good reason. So from White's point of view, which is the point of view I'm going to be teaching it from, it's awesome because first of all it allows White to have great control over the center of the board. It also allows them to get their minor pieces into the game very early, get those babies attacking soon. And from a personal perspective, I like it because it's flexible and it allows for very interesting variations. Some of them great for White, some of them not so great. There are a couple of traps that I'm going to be showing you guys that you need to look out for, or else you can get yourself in some serious trouble. But in this video, what I want to do is I just want to stick with the basics, going over probably, well, I don't want to say the most popular line, but a very common line just to show you guys some of the general theory and basic concepts. And then later on in future videos, I'll show you guys some traps and cool tactics. But for now, we'll just go over the main concepts. So the Italian game starts with pawn to e4. Now, before I continue, I also want to mention that in this first video, I'm going to be going over these moves kind of slow because even though I'm sure that a lot of you guys have a lot of experience playing chess, I know that there are some beginners watching this video, and like from their perspective, they probably don't even know why I would make this move to e4. So just to kind of capture everyone's interest, I'll go over these first moves kind of slowly in detail, explain why I'm doing every single move, and then in the future variations, we'll go over things, a little bit quicker, a little bit more advanced level. So this move, pawn to e4, is made because it's always good to control the center, and what this pawn is doing is it's attacking these two squares right here, namely d5 and f5. Now, in addition to this move, controlling the center, it also has some other hidden benefits, namely it opens up a lane for our queen, and I didn't mean to draw that arrow right there, and our bishop as well. So this move right here, it kind of has three benefits all in one. Again, just a really great opening move, even if you're not interested in playing the Italian game whatsoever. So black, okay, how do they respond to this? Well, they have a couple different options, but the most common, I would say, is just bringing their pawn out to e5. Now, from black's point of view, they're basically just doing they're basically just equalizing our move by controlling these two squares, d4 and f4, and also opening lanes for their bishop and queen. So it's really just an equalizing move in response to our opening move. Nothing wrong with that. Now the next move for White in the Italian game is to bring their knight out to f3. Now this is beneficial for a lot of different reasons. First of all, knights should really not be on the back rank or anywhere near the edge of the board if you can avoid it. When they're in the center of the board, they are able to attack a lot more squares. So you see that this knight can potentially hop to any of these squares, where when it was at g1, it could essentially only go here or here. Now, in addition, why would we want it here? Well, first of all, it's always good to develop it towards the center rather to one of these edges for the reasons I just said. And also, not only that, but in this specific line, we are developing this knight with an attack. That means that if black doesn't respond on their next move to protect this pawn somehow, then we can go ahead and just gobble up this pawn. So that's awesome because what we're doing is we're essentially limiting the response that black has. So what black usually does in this position is they take their knight and they bump it out to, I'll just move it, they bump it out to c6. Now, this is just a really great response from black because first of all, they develop a knight, which is always good, get it off the back rank, they develop it towards the center, and they do this protecting their pawn. So at this point in time, this is the ideal place for this knight, right on c6. Now, the last move in the Italian game is bringing the bishop out to c4. Now, the reason that we want our bishop here is, well, it actually has a couple benefits. First of all, we see that once our knight is out and once our bishop is out, we can now castle on the next move. And in addition to that, if we take a look at the diagonal that this bishop is on, we see that it is now eyeing down this square right here on f7. Now, this square is just a really weak square for black because it's only defended by the king. Now, at this point in time in the game, black really doesn't want his king having the responsibility of having to defend pawns. I mean, the king should be tucked away, protected. It should be the other pieces that are kind of getting their hands dirty. And if we look at all the other pawns, this is protected by the rook. These two are protected by the bishop, this one by the queen. This one, of course, is the bad one, protected by only the king, but this is protected by the bishop, and this one is protected by the rook. So this pawn right here, that's why it's kind of a main target, because if we can slide a piece in there, then, you know, black's going to have some danger. So already we can see that, okay, this is a pretty solid setup from white. They're in good castling position. They got some minor pieces out. They're eyeing down a very weak square for black. And again, like I said, this is the core Italian game. This is the part that we're going to be using as our foundation, and all of the variations that we teach from here on out are going to stem from this. So the Italian game, and now at this point in the video, I just want to kind of continue this with some very common moves and show you guys a very common variation, or where the game usually would go from here. So from here, black might respond with knight to f6. So again, just like this knight's move, it's always good to develop your knight towards the center, and it also does this by attacking our e4 pawn right here. Now, in addition to attacking and just controlling the center in general, what black is also attempting to do is to start moving out their pieces for kingside castling. So now black is one minor piece move away from being able to castle kingside, and of course get this king to a much safer area of the board rather than the middle, where it can be susceptible to many different attacks. And from here, white could do something like maybe just a simple developing move, like moving a piece up to d3. Now this is a fine move because this pawn, when it moves up to d3, it's now protecting two of its pieces, and it also opens up a lane for the dark square bishop. So again, protecting two pieces, opening up a lane, and if we take a little snapshot at this point in time, we see that we have a really nice pawn structure as well. So again, white is not really thinking about attacking at this point, just getting all their pieces developed, getting their camp set up, solidified. And from black's point of view, they have a couple options. So the common moves that they have are to bring their bishop out to either c5, and we're going to be going over a lot of those variations in the future videos. But another one that they may want to do is just to bring their bishop out to e7. Now, both of these options, I would say, they're both solid options. Whenever you bring it out to c5, the bishop is in the center of the board, as you guys can see, and what this means is, although it's more effective in attacking, it is a little bit more susceptible to attack. So if black wants to play it safe, then they'll just develop it, tuck it away on e7. If they are choosing a line where they want to be more tactful, attacking point of view, then they'll probably bring it out here. And again, like I said, I just want to briefly touch on some options. We'll go over some of those c5 lines in the future. Now, the next move from white would probably be just to castle, get the king to safety, and from black as well. Now, an important move in the Italian game is after you castle, you want to actually take this rook on f1 and bump it out to e1. Now, why is that? Well, it's because there's going to be a lot of attacking going down in the center of the board. And what that usually means is that these pawns are going to be traded off soon. They're going to be captured. They're probably going to be one of the first targets to go. Now, when that happens and our rook is on e1, that means that it's going to have an open file, and rooks are the most effective on open file. Files where there are no pieces or maybe an enemy piece chilling there. So from here, we'll just continue real quick. We can say that maybe black moves to d6, again opening up a lane for their bishop and also protecting this pawn on e5. And another move that you may want to have in your back pocket is moving this pawn from a2 to either a3 or a4. Now, when this pawn is moved up, we do this for a couple different reasons. First of all, if black is going to set up the center of the board where these pieces are really well protective and their camp is well solidified in the center, we can choose to start attacking from the flank, from the left side. That is always an option. And another thing is one of black's common attacking plans is to take this knight on c6 and bump it out to a5. Now, once it's on a5, it can attack our bishop on c4. Now, since we really don't have a great place to go, I mean, we can't go here, we can't go here. I mean, if we go to e6, it's just going to be eaten by the pawn. This is controlled by the knight. If this knight is on a5, then of course we can't go here because these two squares are controlled by the knight. So whenever we move this pawn out to a4, it gives our bishop a retreat square back to a2 if we need it. So now, let's just say that, well, since we're continuing with that theory, we'll just say that black does take his knight and bump it out to a5. That would be a point in time where we actually would want to retreat this bishop. But again, I think I'm going into a little bit too much depth. What I really wanted to cover is just these first couple moves. So these three moves for white, this is pretty much signifying that you're about to start the Italian game. That's what this setup is called, and those are why you make the first opening moves. In the upcoming videos, I'll show you guys some traps that you definitely need to look out for, and also some cool variations and cool tactics as well. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you next video.